The Unhappy Hour on the new AmericanMedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM radio network, because the news always matters. My name is Brian Engelman. I'm your host, as I have been for the past 4.5 years. And I want you to check out some of those archived shows. Go to youtube.com/The New American Media. Click subscribe. And then also, when you let the videos play, as long as you watch those advertisements, it's throwing a couple of coins into our wishing well, and we certainly appreciate that. They add up over time, so please do that. Continue the conversation, as so many other people do. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. On the right-hand side is the TNAM radio button. That's where you click play to listen live. When do we go live? Whenever we feel like it, because it's our own damn network. So on the homepage of the New American Media, under the TNAM radio button on the side, are two things. It's our Facebook feed, so make sure you link up with us on Facebook or search for The New American Media. And then also on Twitter, we're at American_media_. That's American_media_. Our guest today is going to be former NBA scout, current NBA consultant, and lifelong Cleveland sports fan, Zak Baris. You can follow him on Twitter at Z Baris. That's ZBARIS. Real quick before we get going, there is a hurricane called Patricia going on, it's going to slam into Mexico, and it might be the largest, most powerful hurricane on record. So this is a good opportunity to just think about your supply and your situation. Do you have extra water?
Is it supposed to hit LA at all?
I haven't seen that. That's been my big question, Zach. I haven't figured out if it's going to hit this region or not, but it's coming up on the Pacific, on the west side of Mexico, and that's not very far from San Diego and Los Angeles for sure.
Nope.
And that's something I just try to remind everybody when they get the chance. Make sure you have some water, make sure you have some extra medicine, make sure that you have something to defend your life and your family's life, some sort of solar panel, battery backup, something. Just make sure that you've prepped a little bit, whether it's for hurricane or tornado or power outage. It's important across the board, so there's your opportunity. Now, what I want to talk about, Zach, I want to talk about two things. Let's talk about the Browns really quick, and then we'll reset it for our NBA sports, our NBA preview show. The Cleveland Browns lost a game in overtime to the Broncos last week. What's your takeaway from that? Were you at that game?
I was at the game, yeah.
All right.
I was actually there. Not Brian Williams, I was there. I was actually there.
Brian Williams, I was there. That's good.
No, so getting to it, it's like, okay, so I was right behind the play when Bradley Roby clearly grabbed Brian Hartline's face mask on the Browns at about the 44-yard line. Should have been a 15-yard penalty, would have put the Browns right in the field goal range at the end of regulation. It wasn't called. Unfortunately, McCown wound up throwing that. I think it was a dumb pick at the end.
Yeah.
And then, and obviously in overtime, you're just sitting there. It's like all the Browns had to do was gain 7 to 8 yards to bring in Coons for the field goal kick. And it's like, just come on. I was at the game in Baltimore, so I had some hope because we came back and won at that game. But it's like, just come on, just getting 7 to 8 yards. What do they do? They lose 13 yards.
McCown takes sacks at the worst possible time. McCown just takes bad sacks.
Here's the thing about Josh McCown, though. You look at Josh McCown sometimes, and you go, wow, this guy can make really every throw.
Right.
But here's the problem. He's always been a terrible decision maker, which has been his problem his entire career. He just doesn't seem that smart.
His football IQ is lacking that gut instinct.
Definitely lacking something.
Yeah, what is it? He's 2-14 over his past 16 games.
Over Josh McCown's career, you've seen this over and over again. That's one of the reasons he's always been relegated to backup duty, never a long-term starter, because he makes boneheaded decisions. There are games when he looks unbelievable when he's not forced to do anything, but when he's forced, makes really bad throws.
Yeah. Well, we got a backup quarterback, Johnny Manziel, who's been in the news. What do you make of that whole situation?
It's a complete mess. What do? The guy can't stay out of trouble. Like Brian, just between you and I, we've had our private conversations about it. I've told you what I've seen and what I've heard.
We have.
And like I said, I wasn't wrong.
Would you care to elaborate for the people that don't know what we're talking about?
I really don't. I really can't so much. Like I said, I like to keep it private. But you know what we've talked about? And
Well,
like I said,
we can
he
say
never
that
cut
it's
out the drinking.
okay.
He never cut out the drinking.
He might have scaled back and he might have toned it down, but he never did the full all or nothing. He didn't move all of his chips into the middle of the table. And you're not surprised. You're not surprised because that's what happens when people are out of control. There are relapses. That's to be expected.
But I mean, how can you have a relapse when you never even stopped drinking? That's the thing. If you never even stopped it, how is it even a relapse technically?
And a lot of people are fair point. A lot of people are wondering, that this girlfriend, apparently she's trying to dive out of a speeding car going apparently somewhere between 50 and 100 miles an hour and passing people on the right-hand side of the road and throwing wallets out the window. And it's sure I don't know all the details, but it doesn't look good on her side. Regardless of Johnny, like you said.
It sounds like it's a toxic relationship.
Yeah. It does.
And judging by it, it's unfortunate. You don't ever see Tom Brady in the news for the wrong things. You don't ever see Peyton Manning in the news for doing the wrong thing. When you're a quarterback, you're supposed to be a leader of a football team. People look up to you. Look how very few quarterbacks in the NFL and in college are not captains of their team.
Right.
The quarterback is supposed to be the leader of the football team. And you're supposed to lead by example, not leading by being I'm just going to say it, by leading by being a shithead.
Yeah.
That's what Johnny does. Johnny's a shithead. I hate to say it, but he is. Getting in all this trouble all the time. He's constantly in the news for the wrong reason.
Yeah, there are good times to be in the news.
Where have you ever heard about Russell Wilson getting in trouble? All you hear about is Russell Wilson visiting kids in the hospitals on his day off.
Right. Right.
I'm being truthful though. Where do you ever hear bad news about Russell Wilson or Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, any of these guys? Andrew Luck.
Well,
LeBron for that. Out of trouble.
LeBron for that matter. He's giving out college scholarships. He's meeting with the first lady.
Exactly.
Politics aside, he's trying to do good things. And for as bad as the decision was, how that was handled. He's over his career. He's not the guy always getting in trouble with the law.
I don't think Johnny's ever really going to get a chance to start anywhere. I don't think anybody's going to want him. He's such a distraction.
Maybe Dallas, though.
Dallas is Tony Romo, and he's helping. Johnny as a backup is going to be an even bigger distraction down there.
Maybe.
It's Dallas. You want to keep him out of the spotlight. If anything, throw him in Jacksonville, where he's not going to get any.
He would bring the circus to town with him there. No, but back to the players that are actually playing. We'll see what happens. The NFL's investigating. Obviously, the Ray Rice thing wasn't as big of a deal because we weren't there and we didn't know, and it could be any scuffle. And then the video comes out and you go, oh. But
well, exactly. That's why like you said, guys like Jay Rat. I think it was Jay Ratliff had been in trouble. Not Jay Ratliff. Who was the? I'm sorry. Who was the guy? Ray McDonald. So Ray McDonald has gotten into trouble. What Ray McDonald's done is terrible. It sounds, but there's no video evidence of anything, so people don't hear about it as much.
Right.
The reason the Ray Rice thing came out so bad, it was just because it was on video. I'm not condoning Ray Rice's behavior. I think it was terrible. He doesn't deserve to play again.
Right.
Nor is he good enough at that point anyway. But the fact that Ray McDonald kept getting chances after what he kept doing was unbelievable, too. What he was doing was just as bad, if not worse, than Ray Rice. And Greg Hardy, they finally let him back, and what he did was horrible too. The league really cannot condone this stuff. But the thing is, if Johnny's going to be out of control, like I said, I don't know if it was his fault or not, but he's always in the news for the wrong reason.
Right.
You don't see anyone else in the news for the wrong reasons. That's a quarterback in the NFL. You don't see these guys. You don't see Aaron Rodgers in trouble. You don't see these guys in trouble. That's what a leader of a football team, if you look at any of these guys that are going to the playoffs every year, you don't see Joe Flacco. Obviously the only one who's, the only quarterback in the league who's made some really bad headlines is Ben Roethlisberger.
No, Mike Vick, too.
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks, let's put it.
Yeah, let's say that.
But that's it. Mike Vick was out of the league for a while. For a couple of years, and still, a lot of people still hate the guy. He's never won anything.
Vic going to the dog pound, the headlines are going to write themselves. That's just going to be, we'll see if Ben is back for that.
Ben Roethlisberger, though, legitimately, he's the only one who's had a ton of negative headlines in the news for all of his issues.
Right. Yeah, when it's happening to the quarterback, it's not good when they're supposed to be your leader. And let's talk about the other leader of the Browns. It starts with the head coach. He went for two he said the card said that that's what he was supposed to do. When it was happening, I was just squinting my eyes and turning my head like a Labrador.
Here's the thing, though, too. Denver would have gone for 2 also.
Right.
If the Browns, so that's why it doesn't really matter. Denver would have gone for 2 also if the Browns would have kicked the extra. If the Browns would have gotten it. So it didn't matter. It really didn't matter at that point. That wasn't one of my big concerns. I'm not going to hate on Pettin for doing it, but like I said, the defense just hasn't been that good. Peyton Manning looked like he was throwing the ball 10 miles an hour. It looked like I could have caught one of those.
Yeah, this is the definition of a player that played too long.
They weren't even spiraled. Brian, my seats are on the 50-yard line right there in the lower deck. They're right there, right behind the Browns. I'm 29 rows behind the Browns bench on the 50-yard line. I have a perfect view of the stadium. And I'm watching Demaryius Thomas dropping those passes, and they're coming in so soft, they're not even spirals. They're just bouncing off of them. It's like when a little kid throws you a pass and you're expecting it to be so much harder than it is, and it comes in like a mile an hour and you drop it. You're like, wasn't expecting it to come in like that.
Yeah, Peyton it definitely looks like this is it, man. Like he's not the player he used to be.
No, and it's sad to see. I'm at Peyton Manning's last game at Brown State, it's First Energy Stadium, and he's terrible.
And this is the year that he fell to me in my fantasy league, and I picked him up because he was a deal.
I wouldn't have picked him up at all. I knew not to draft him.
I know. I could have gotten a lot better player in that round. I don't know. I might have got him in the 6th round or something. It wasn't.
That's still pretty high.
It's still pretty high for what he's putting out this year. But that was a winnable game.
How he looked in the playoffs last year, you knew he was done.
Yeah. Well, you wondered if just the season wore on him and he could bounce back. But yeah, I think last year's playoffs.
I was hearing that it takes him 30 minutes with someone helping him just to get his pads off after every game, they were saying. I think it was on Rizzo the other day they were saying that.
Wow.
30 minutes to just get his pads off.
Okay. Yeah, that sheds a little perspective onto the old man's career. But they're saying maybe he'll end up with Jimmy Haslam running the Cleveland Browns one day, and that day might be real soon. Yeah, we'll see.
Like I said, the guy knows football. He'd be great to have. He really would. He's been great. He's been great for football. Since '98, he's been arguably the most consistent player in the league.
Yeah, him and Brady. They've been right up there, and it's something that can be said about the durability as well.
He's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. I think Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, at least of my generation. Of course, there's Elway, which I remember as a kid. There's Brett Favre, but the first quarterback that comes to mind winning all these Super Bowls, it's Tom Brady. And think with what he does. Think with what he does with such, with not great receivers.
Right. Yeah, the system runs itself. If you were the Browns, let's put you in charge of the Browns for a day. Have you seen enough from either Pettin, let me ask you this. Should they stay or should they go? Mike Pettin, you run the Browns right now.
I would not fire him mid-season. Who are you going to have to replace him? You're going to replace him with DeFilippo, or you're going to replace him with Jim O'Neill, whose defense is struggling? No. Keep Mike Pettin for right now.
All right. Maybe after the season, if we can't turn the ship around, it might be time.
It all depends. It all depends, too. Another issue is the Browns have zero consistency. Who wants to coach this football team?
Right.
That's another question, too, is who's going to sit here? What kind of great coaching candidate can the Browns get that wants to be a part of this football organization?
I would say guaranteed money will speak, though.
Brian, it hasn't spoken in the past.
Well,
nobody
fair.
wants to coach this football team.
All right. Well, okay, you're still running the Browns. What do you do with Ray Farmer? Have you seen enough out of him? Should he stay or should he go?
If it's me, I've seen enough, and I'll tell you why. The Browns, give me their first-round picks this year, Johnny Manziel and Justin Gilbert. What are either one of them doing? I see Justin Gilbert every night on one of those hoverboards in my building riding around.
Wow.
The kid's a clown. Johnny really, he's been in trouble. Justin Gilbert, they took Justin Gilbert over Odell Beckham. They didn't take Khalil Mack. They passed on Mike Evans. In that extra first-round pick, we have Danny Shelton has not been anything unbelievable this season. He really hasn't. I like Danny Shelton, but he hasn't, according to Pro Football Focus, his grade has been negative. Cameron Irving's barely seen the field. Okay, that's another first-rounder. And Nate Orchard, what has Nate Orchard done this season? Our second-round pick, you let your ball sheared walk so you could draft him. It's been miserable. 5 out of the top 6 picks have been complete busts from this point, it seems like. I wouldn't call Danny Shelton a complete bust. I would not call him a complete bust. I don't mean to say that. But have not hit the home run on any of those picks other than Joel Batonia.
That's not good. That's not good. That's not how you build a winner.
No, I mean that scares the crap out of me. Being a Browns fan, going, we passed on some of the best receivers over the last couple of years, two of the most talented wide receiver drafts ever. We take a guy in the 4th round and we cut
him. We did. We cut our wide receiver for this year. Just draft him.
They've done nothing to add talent to this football team in Ray Farmer's 2 years here. They really haven't.
I mean, we drafted Josh Gordon, but that was a few years ago, of course.
But that wasn't Ray Farmer even.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I just keep
thinking.
That
was even before Lombardi and Banner. I mean, that was when Tom Hecker was still running the team.
We should not have this many names we have to remember going back in the franchise.
And the thing is, when you think about it, too, is if, like I said, Josh Gordon will most likely be in Cleveland next year. I'll put money on that one.
I would agree.
If he's playing, he will be in Cleveland. I can tell you it's not going to be for another organization next year. But he's still under contract. He will be a Cleveland Brown. And for some reason, if he plays along with Travis Benjamin, the Browns have installed a couple of legit receivers if Josh Gordon could ever keep his head on. And I'm telling you, Travis Benjamin, legit as they come. Another Tom Hecker pick.
Can we hire him again?
What?
Can we hire him again? Go out and get him again?
I mean, I don't know. He's with Denver. I mean, the thing is, though, look at what Travis Benjamin has done this season now that he's finally healthy. I mean, the kid, he's always open. I mean, he's a great receiver. He really is. I mean, he's probably going to be an all-pro this season.
It'd be great if he had something to go along with him. I guess Gary Barnidge has been doing okay. That was a recent
Barnidge has been doing great, too. He's great, too.
I mean, that shows it wasn't all Jordan Cameron, which is nice.
No, Jordan and Barnidge is having a better year than Jordan Cameron. I mean, the Browns' offense hasn't been the problem.
Which is crazy to think about. Which is so crazy. 36-year-old perpetual losing quarterback and Josh McCown and Josh Gordon sitting on the sidelines and Johnny Manziel causing headlines off the field. It's amazing that the offense hasn't been the biggest problem on this team, but yeah, you're right. Mike Pettin coming in as a defensive guy.
The defense can't stop anything. It's been bad.
Well, you're hearing the rumblings now that the players are upset with the scheme.
I love this football team so much.
I know.
But all they do is let me down, and like I said, the thing is I don't have a breaking point, because if I had a breaking point, it would have already been reached.
You're in a toxic relationship, Zach.
It's nonstop with them, and it's like, it's okay. How are we going to find a way to lose this week? When I was at the game in Baltimore, we're down 21-9, and like, okay, well, we're 4 field goals away from tying the game up. That's how you think as a Browns fan. You don't think that, okay, we're 2 touchdowns away from taking the lead. We're 4 field goals away from tying it.
We're 6 safeties away.
Well, yeah, I don't ever recall the Browns getting a safety other than the Pittsburgh game a few years ago, and that's the last one.
Yeah, it's, I was at the Charger game, and it was incredible watching them snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on that. It's just, it goes on and on with this team. So then I say, you run the team for a day. Johnny Manziel, does he go, or do you keep him?
At this point, I don't even care anymore. I would just honestly probably just cut him.
Yeah. Well, the Browns are facing the Rams this week. It's theoretically a winnable game. The Rams' running game has been crazy. You think so?
Todd Gurley's going to run for 200-plus yards on them, or close to it.
The people are in the locker room are saying now that it's filtering out that they hate the defensive scheme, that they just the linemen guess and just kind of make up their mind on the fly which gaps they cover, so the linebackers don't know where the linemen are. So that's why when they get torched, they're getting torched for big plays. I don't know. Is there any way to fix this defense? There's a lot of money spent on that side of the ball.
I really don't know. I'm just so frustrated with them every Sunday, so, you never know.
All right. Well, you're predicting a Rams win. Did I hear that correctly?
I'm just going to say it now. I want the Browns to win. Although I'll give them this. The Rams play terrible outside of their own division, so that's where the Browns have a chance.
Yeah, and the Browns have been in all but one game this year. Had a chance in almost every one of these games, down to the last possession or overtime. So we'll see how it goes. But let's do this. Let's hit reset real quick, and we want to get into the NBA preview show. That's what we're all here to listen to. If you're not following Zach on Twitter, he's at Zak Baris. That's ZBARIS. My name's Brian Engelman. This is the Unhappy Hour.
It's the Unhappy Hour.
And this is John B. Wells reminding you that not only is Brian Engelman a cool guy, and not only is the newamericanmedia.com a very cool platform, but here's a cool idea for you, too. Are you alone? Not really. Do you like dogs? Do you like cats? You do. Of course you do. Everybody does. One or the other, maybe even both. You know, there are a lot of dogs and cats that are at shelters right now, and if somebody doesn't take them home, they're going to wind up euthanized. That's a nice way of saying they're going to be killed, because there's simply not enough room. I guarantee it, the best dogs and the best cats, the best pets, come from shelters. There's something about dogs and cats. They know. They know where they are. You walk through one of them, and certainly at least one is going to look at you and go, I wish you'd take me home. I'm in hell. Please take me out of here. It'll be the best thing that you ever did for your soul. You'll feel good about it. And not only that, but you have a friend for life. Doesn't matter if you got money, you don't have money. What doesn't make any difference to a dog or cat. All they need is the sound of your voice and maybe even the stroke of your hand, and they're fine. Maybe a little food every once in a while. The sweetest sound that those pets ever hear is your voice. Think it over and adopt a cat or a dog from a local shelter today. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.